Okay. The City of Lawrence Common Council Code Committee is meeting right now, September the 20th, 2023. The time now is, let's see here, 5:02. And we are going to start the agenda. First on the agenda is proposal number 8, 2023, repealing certain secondary businesses permit fees in Title 4, Article 1 and 2 of the Lawrence Municipal Code. The floor is now open for discussion.
Madam Chair, this is Councilor Whitfield that has authored this. I just want to make a few statements of why this was brought to our attention as you're opening it up for discussion. In the proposal, it makes more convenience, far, and friendly for small business owners to conduct businesses in Lawrence. The burdensome fees that serve no great need for the operations of the city of government are counterproductive. Every day in the city, we trust barbers, estheticians, massage therapists to handle our hair, our skin, and bodies with the care and best professionalism of their trades. To have one set a rule, permit, and fees for one related industry but not others is arbitrarily and unjustified. It will remove offensive, out-of-date language and actions for our city law. The insinuation that anyone involved in the massage therapy industry is unclean or a sex worker is ridiculous and wrong. To those professionals, I apologize for poor city leaders who felt this language was needed in our code. It's truly not. Times have changed. It sends a message to the rest of Indiana and other Indiana cities that Lawrence is a progressive place to live and to conduct business. I hope it provides an example of inspiration for other leaders across the state to update their code as well. These offensive terms have got to go. I think that this is a great opportunity to continue discussion on this ordinance.
Any other discussion? Yes.
I'm pretty short for this. My name is Michelle Bailey. I am a board member for the American Massage Therapy Association, and I have been the past government relations chair for the previous 4 years. And I just wanted to express that the American Massage Therapy Association supports your attempt to get these changes made, and we are willing to work together with you if you need any assistance with any kind of changes, although I've already read the proposed revision that came through. And our concerns are specific within Section 2 or Section 4-2-5, and we are asking that you take away that language in order to leave your supervision of the businesses intact and the state allowing for supervision of massage therapists, because that's how it is written now that we're all licensed professional massage therapists. So while the city will provide governance for businesses, the state will cover for massage therapists moving forward. We are holding massage therapists accountable to continuing education and submitting to the professional licensing agency. So I think that if there's anything else that we can discuss any further or help you with in any way, shape, or form, please let me know. We thank you again for moving this forward, and it is very refreshing to know that there is a city that's willing to step up and be a leader. I ran through Greenwood with this same situation, and now Lawrence is following suit, and the more that it happens, the better that we can make massage therapy and city ordinances across the state. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. I just wanted to say a few things from the DPW standpoint on some of the changes that are proposed. The concerns that DPW have is primarily on the franchisee fee for the cable. The reason being, we actually charge other utilities like CEG and AES and what else is and other utility vendors annual utility fee of $5,000 every year, which allows them to be in our right-of-way and also do work without permits in case of emergencies. So if we are charging utilities, the other utilities, why are we not charging cable, treating cable the same way? That's the concern. That's the question that was raised up at DPW, is we are already doing that for other utilities, and cable is just another utility that is using our right-of-way, right? Mm-hmm. So that is one question or concern that we have. Again, this is a common concern from the permits department, and which I oversee. The other one that we have concern about is the child care.
Sri, could I stop you for a second? Madam President, can I ask a question? Sure. Thank you. Sri, so cable franchise operations were deregulated at the local level in 2006.
Okay.
Under state law, they get statewide franchise fees.
Okay.
And local cities and towns are not permitted anymore
Gotcha.
to charge those fees unless we have a current contract that predates 2006. And to my knowledge, we don't. Please correct me if you think I'm wrong. Okay. So if that's correct, then we cannot charge them a fee. I believe that is a separate issue from right-of-way charges. This is just a cable license fee to operate as a cable television provider in the city of Lawrence, which is separate from underground facilities in the public rights of way. So I don't think that's an issue, but I'm happy to talk to you about it offline.
I think you answered me right. I think if that's the case, I think, again, some of these ordinances have not been touched in 20, 25 years. Right. So when that came on board, I think the last time this might have changed was probably late 90s or early 2000, this particular chapter.
Right.
So that kind of explains it, and thank you for that explanation.
Right. I don't want you at all to think that I'm not willing to work with you.
No. I think again, these are the answers.
I don't know what a peddler and a bathhouse is either.
Absolutely. So the next one that, again, these are questions that we had and we couldn't answer it. Probably you can answer it, Chris. The childcare facilities, we currently charge them $20 a year to come to us with a permit, and the reason are multifold. Basically, for somebody to have a childcare in their apartment, and if we don't know about that, and if they don't come to us for a permit, and we charge, so when there is an emergency call about into an apartment, the people, our emergency folks don't know there are like 7 kids there or like 5 kids there. So if they don't come to us and we don't have the record, then nobody knows that's what's happening there, right? So for DPW's opinion is that fee should be raised from 20 to 50 because we do have some runs to some of these facilities for various issues, in the past several years. So if if we don't ask for, I mean, the other issue is, okay, we can have a permit with no fees, but what we find out is when there is no fees attached to a permit, people just don't come to us for permits. There is like, okay, we don't need we don't have to, they just go with it. That's what we have seen on some of the older permits. So that is a concern that was raised in the public works, the building department and the code enforcement, because we don't know, we wouldn't know what's going to be out there for childcare. We wouldn't know who is running childcare if they don't ask for a permit. So that is another concern we have, and I don't know if that we are, changed. Or, if there is a state law that changes differently and we don't know about it, I don't know, again. Because then public safety has the same concern. If they get a call and if they don't know how many people are there or running a childcare, and some of the times we do go inspect, make sure, it's not overly, crowded, even if it is an apartment. So that is a concern that we have that was brought up. And the last one is the peddlers and canvassers. We do get a lot of people who comes to our window asking for permits for peddlers to go door-to-door canvassing. And what that paying that $50 fee or whatever that fee is, that kind of restricts the quality of the people who are going to be going from one door to another. If you take that away, anybody can go knock on anybody's door. But making that kind of a regulatory thing, I think we're going to eliminate a lot of the people who shouldn't be out there knocking on doors, and more legit. And we do get it, like roofers come to us, a lot of the exterior contractors, they come to us for permits. And, sometimes they have 4 people out there doing peddlers and canvassing. So we do get that. And so far we have not received any pushback on that. And I think it's been working good that like a couple of times, I can give you an example. We got a call from a resident saying, hey, we have a peddler going around in our neighborhood knocking on doors. Do they? It looks like they shouldn't be out there. And we looked, and they didn't have a permit. So we just went and shut them down. And next day they came, because people were afraid who they are. Does the city know about it? So that happened like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I think it kind of keeps the quality of the peddlers that are going to be out there more authentic, more people who really wants to be out there. Again, that is kind of another concern that was brought up for those two. That's all I have. Thank you.
Shri, can I ask you a question? So everybody that comes into the city, like peddlers and door-to-door, they need a permit.
They will come to us, they will ask for a permit, and if it is a group, we will give them as a group. Again, and I don't know if they get a kind of a tag from us to put that they came through us. I think we do that. I can't say that, but I think we give them some kind of record saying they are permitted to go from one.
So does each person have to have a permit?
Correct. So, again, Renee should be able to answer. So, a few weeks ago, one of the roofers, they didn't have a permit. We got a call from one of the residents. We stopped them from doing any more. They came to us next day and got 5 permits from us for 5 people to go around. I think it was $50 a piece, but they also get a kind of a permit tag from us. Mm-hmm. So if people ask them, they can show, hey, we provided our information. We know who the people are. And the city knows who the people are, and this has been approved.
So Shri, just so I'm reading this correctly, you don't actually stop anybody from going door to door. You're just asking that they are registering so you know who they are.
Out there, and I think if I might be, I think we do require that they submit some kind of proof that they're not. The person who is going to be out there maybe give us a copy of the license or something, so before we issue a permit, so we know who is knocking on doors on that particular street.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Thank you. I was just wondering, I have a couple questions. First of all, do we know the total amount that comes in from all the fees collected, and are they enumerated by each category?
I have a spreadsheet. I forgot to print it out. I'll print it out after this meeting. I knew this kind of question was going to come up. I have a spreadsheet that we ran for the last year, how much. I think a total of, if my memory is right, it was around close to $7,000 for all this.
For everything? The other thing.
Yeah, most of this is like, mostly peddlers and, yeah, I think around, I mean, I have a spreadsheet showing which one collected what, how much last year. And I'll share with the committee.
So if we are to take away the fees for these particular areas, these categories, we suppose the $7,000 would be the roundabout amount that would impact our budget. not
Correct.
Assuming this goes into the
General fund. Correct.
Okay, so I just wanted to establish that, thank you. Secondly, when you were talking about the children's daycares and so forth, I can understand the safety aspect of that. Is there, and this may get a little logistically clumsy, and I can appreciate that sentiment, could we somehow impose a fine rather than a fee so that if they don't get registered, so that we have that information for our EMT and public safety personnel? If we find that out, we fine them so they can come in and get it for free. But if they don't get it, there's a fine.
I think we can always do that on any of this. But again, it might be too late when they come. I mean, again, how do I find out? How do anybody finds out there is an apartment which is having a daycare facility and 6 kids there when it's supposed to be 4 kids, right?
Well, how did they find out that they need to come in anyway?
I mean, true. I mean, that's again, but if you're talking, okay, let's fine, if they don't do it, they come back at a fine. But what I have seen again is when there is something like this in the ordinance, people actually, I mean, surprisingly, people call us and ask them what do we need to do? On peddlers, we get a lot of calls on what do we need to do? Childcare. They actually call us when they know that there has to be something, right? So they call us, my office, and they say, hey, what is the process? So we say, okay, you come, you submit this, you pay this fees. Again, $20, which I think is kind of minimal. But then we put that in the system and say there is a childcare facility in that apartment, whatever number it is. And I don't know if and if it is, if you think that we ask the questions like how many kids are going to be there, all that questions, and then we go through the process, and then there are things, people do a lot of things without letting us know too, and sometimes we have to be we have to find them after that. But to me, this is something that is, it literally takes them 30 minutes to apply for some of these permits. They can pay online or call us. We'll take the payment over phone. It's an easy online payment through our website. Permit applications are there online. It's not that, it's definitely not hard.
Well, which category of all of these accounts for the most income from these? Do you have any idea on that?
I can't, but looking at some of this, we don't have taxi cabs, concert halls, driver's license fee for taxi cab, amusement. I haven't even seen those. I know we have some massage places here, so I think the peddlers and the childcare facilities might be the peddlers might be the highest, and the childcare might be the second. Again, when I go back to my computer, I'll print that spreadsheet and I'll let you know what we collected last year on each of this.
Can you bring, not just last year, can you bring maybe the last 3 years so we could see if there was an increase or anything like that?
Sure, but I that one I need to get to my staff and figure out how to do that. I have the one from my last year, but I'll get that out tomorrow or in the next 2 days for the historic 3 years.
Yeah, historically.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jim Hennigan, Street Director. I'd like to make a comment on your peddlers. I mean, if we don't have permitting, we don't have accountability and control. Right now, I've heard police runs, please show up. Do you have a permit? No, get out. I think we're opening the door for a lot of you know how they are. They're pushy. You know, a lot of older women don't want to deal with that. I don't think we should get rid of the panhandler portion of this. I think the city should have control of who walks their neighborhood and talks to their citizens. I think that's my personal opinion. Do you agree?
May I ask that, is that under the peddlers?
Yes,
Yeah.
the peddler's part.
Okay. Do we have very many peddlers that come in and get this licensing?
That's a shrewd question, but I do know that our trucks have radios, police we scan because, we're out working there. And I have heard several panhandler runs. Policeman shows up, he don't have a license, he's kicked out of the neighborhood.
Right. So,
Or if he is a pushy one and he steps out of bounds, they pull his permit and he can't come back. I think
Right,
we
and
don't want to lose
I-
accountability and control on that panhandler part because you're opening up, who knows who would come to our neighborhoods.
right, and, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, this is why we have the code meeting for discussion and opening to hear everything. So we appreciate
I
your,
work here, but I'm just telling you, I don't want some yahoo knocking on my door if my wife's home and I'm not there and he doesn't want to leave.
We just don't answer the door when you're not there. But you're absolutely right. I think maybe we need to modernize.
But what if you're out and you're working in your yard and he walks up to you?
No, you're right. I'm not arguing with you. I just think we need to modernize the term because it's not really panhandler and it's not really peddler. I think it's door-to-door sales is really what we're talking about.
I mean, there's neighborhoods, HOAs call me and say,
Yeah.
can I have a no soliciting sign? We don't give, you can put up yourself, but
Right.
people still go in there, they don't.
Right. I think we would like some feedback from the city, whether you just want us to, whether your recommendation is just to remove the deletion of that, or whether you want to modernize it in some way. And I know that may not be a question for you, Jim,
No,
but
that's not, I'm coming to you,
yeah.
citizen.
I'm kind of looking over at Corey for that.
It's business, and I think is it $20 he said for a panhandle?
It's 50, yeah.
Yeah, I think it should be more than that, because you're gonna get the riffraff out, that's just me.
Yeah, fair enough.
My concern
fair
is
enough.
You want accountability and control.
Right, and so is it more about the cost, the permit fees, rather than just the permit for the accountability? So if we minimize the fees to a very low level, we still have that accountability, even maybe to zero.
Well, but then we don't, I'm assuming there's administrative costs associated with issuing permits and revoking permits and all of that. And then we're not recovering any of our costs, which I think the city should be doing. So I think I see Corey nodding, I think it's a balance there. Curtis, did you have a comment? We see you.
Yes, I'm sorry. Can you guys all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I apologize for not being there. I do agree. We do have a lot of complaints as it relates to panhandlers in different neighborhoods, especially the ones that the ones that have no solicitation signs. We talk about that at several of our Crown Watch meetings, and a lot of the residents are concerned about that. So, I would agree that there probably should be some type of monetary value to someone getting a peddler's or a panhandling permit. So I do agree with Sheree and Jimmy on that one. But if there isn't a fee associated with any of these that have been discussed tonight, I believe that there probably should be some type of stiff penalty for people who do violate the ordinance and not get a permit at all. Because it does, people who go through the normal process, they're going to do the right thing and get the permits like they're supposed to. There's going to be those select few of people who are not going to do that, in which, that's what we're trying to eliminate, people from just going through the motions and not doing what they're supposed to do. So, I'm in agreement, but however, I think there should be some type of stiff penalty for people who violate the ordinance with not getting a permit altogether so that DPW and code enforcement can take appropriate action as needed.
So I have the information on the amount we collected on some of this for the last year. I was a little off. The top was the massage therapists and bathhouses. We collected $2,000 last year for 3 licenses. The second one was the peddlers. We collected close to $1,900 last year for 43 of those. Then we did collect We did have one for the concert halls and theaters for 500, and then we collected 14. I didn't know that for the amusement devices for 700. So we were around close to 4,700, like close to $5,000 last year on this.
Madam Chair, just for the record, nonprofits and recognized organizations consisting of people just serving youth, like the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, are exempt from these permit requirements.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How would political campaigns figure into that? Are they considered a nonprofit as well?
That's political speech, so that's a whole different thing, but yeah. Does anyone know, does the city just wait for people to come and get a permit, or are they actively seeking certain businesses out to get permits?
We don't. People call us when they have a business that are ready to start, just like any other city, because those people know that, hey, to start such and such thing, you need to go to the state for certain things, you need to go to the local body for certain things. So these business owners are well aware when they have to call us, and they will. They call us and ask us what is the City of Lawrence requirements. Because that's different than Indianapolis requirements. So, but when we find when we find that something is starting without our approval, we actually put stop work orders on them. We have a code inspector. Either we find it ourselves, or we get a call from somebody saying, "Hey, by the way, such and such." So we issue a stop work order and have them apply for a permit. But again. There is sometimes we don't see it at all, but we try our best to act as much as we can.
On the Child Care Center Street, just a follow-up question, if it's okay, Madam Chair. So it makes sense to me what you're saying about emergency response to a child care home, but as you may know, child care homes with 5 or fewer unrelated children are not regulated by the state. And I've often seen apartment buildings that had 10 family members in it. Does the city do anything if there's 10 people living in an apartment and they don't know?
We get the same call from neighbors complaining that, hey, this house probably is overcrowded, and all we can do is you need to talk to Marion County Health Department because it's a health and safety issue.
Gotcha.
Because our ordinance doesn't tell us how many people can stay in a single family house. So we direct them to that.
Okay.
That's the best we can do.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Does the zoning code have something about unrelated?
Now, on a residential one, on an apartment one, it's very gray at how many people can live there, and they can always say, hey, these are all our, we got a couple of calls about a lot of people living in an apartment, and we referred them back to the county health department. It's a health and safety issue.
Thank you. Madam Chair, since I authored this, I would like to make sure that we continue to visit, but I want to make sure that we do not lose the reason why in regards to the outdated language and also the massage therapists being professional and rules and being governed by the state. So I would love to ask the counselor, what would our next move be, seeing that we have a lot of discussion today?
With you all's permission, what I'd like to do is have among myself and the committee a kind of a sidebar conversation with the administration on what our thoughts are, and hopefully come to an agreement on what should stay and what should go and what should change, and then bring this back to committee for perhaps a vote on an amendment, because I think a lot of what they're saying makes sense. These concerns make sense. Let's all get on the same page and bring it back to the committee. Would that be acceptable?
We are running into our 5:30 finance meeting.
Right, so we would just table it for the moment and schedule another meeting when you're ready, probably before the first of the month meeting in October. Does that work?
Yes.
Okay.
Fine by me.
So I see that we're going to go ahead and table this one on proposal number 8, 2023. Everybody in agreement?
Yes.
Okay. Meeting adjourned.